Hi, I'm Daniel Windsor, and today I'm going to be teaching you Cuelux, our lighting system here at the church. To any new volunteers, I want to say welcome and thank you for learning our system. I hope this video is good and it teaches you everything you need to know. To anyone with prior experience with our lighting system, thank you for coming and learning exactly how Cuelux runs and operates. In the past, we've ran Cuelux manually and programmed here and there, but the Cuelux isn't meant to be ran manually. It has manual controls to be able to adjust the lights however you want them, but then it's meant to be programmed. And in the past, our problem has been manually controlling it, and eventually what happens is it saves every button you're clicking. So if you come in and you're warming up for service and you're adjusting and playing with the lights, trying to get them, ready, it's saving all that stuff that you're doing. So by the time service starts, that memory is almost full, and then it starts to make mistakes, it starts to have problems, and then we have lighting issues during service, which is why this video is being created, because we want to eliminate any future problems. Now I'm going to start with the basics, like very basics. I'm going to teach you how to add a light first off, like these up here. I don't have any new lights, but I will show you how to add one if we in the future get some more. So you want to go to patch. Patch is kind of like, I don't know exactly why they call it patch, but it's basically like lights. So imagine that patch says lights. So if we want to add a light, we go to patch, we come in here, we can see the lights we already have, and this is where you can label them. This is where you put the addresses in. The intelligent lights right here, these are the properties for those lights to tell it to reverse the pan, reverse the tilt, and all that stuff, because this one is our right intelligent light, so it needs to aim the opposite way so that it's aiming towards the center of the stage instead of at the wall. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but to add a light, we want to go add, and in here are all sorts of manufacturers. So most typical lights that we have are Chevettes, I believe it's pronounced. We'll act like we're hooking up one of our intimidators. So we come in here. Now notice each light is going to have its own model number and everything. So you look on the light, you find the make, you find the model number or the name and the model number, and then you can come over here and have these different options. The ones we have are these ones. They don't have any extra options, which is fine. So and then you press add, and now we have our new light. So you can double click here and you can name it. We'll name it new light for right now. And then the channel or the address is very important, because that, out of all the lights we have up there, all the different lights have different addresses, and so this allows the program to find the exact light out of all the lights up there. It allows it to find the light that has the same address. So we would want to say the intelligent light is on 45. We'd come in here and we can change it up to 45, and we press OK. So that's how you add a new light. So these are lights that we've added in the past, and this is our left truss, middle scrim, right truss. Those are our LEDs. What they do is they can only be turned on and off, different colors, and that's about it for them. They are just to backlight the scrim and obviously the trusses for the color, whatever color we want to put on them. These are ran in the color mix area. The intelligent lights, which are these, those you do the colors in here, which I'll show you in a minute. And also this position button is for the intelligent lights. But for the LED lights, the beam is basically on and off. This is the dimmer, so we can have them at half capacity, we can have them at full capacity, or all the way off. And then this is where we pick our color for those lights. Now you should see a video in the bottom left corner pop up so that you can see our stage and see what I'm doing and how it's affecting the look of the stage. So we have our beam up, we want to pick our color, we go to color picker, and let's start with green. So now they're all green. Now we can switch through different colors. Now you'll find that different colors show better on our scrims. Like for instance, white. White necessarily isn't white. On the video it actually portrays white pretty well. But if you look at the scrim, those lights aren't white. You know, so white is a color that we don't really do. But we usually do reds, we do greens, we do blues. Let's check yellow. Yellow, you know, it's not necessarily strictly yellow, but it's not a bad look, you know, so we might use it. But typically we stick with the colors that work the best. And so also what you can do is you can select the trusses, or you can select just the middle scrim, and these can be changed to a different color. So we don't have to select them all and have them all one color. We can mix it up. I mean, even if we wanted to make the trusses different, we can have one red, one green, and we can make the middle scrim blue. I mean, if we wanted to get all patriotic, we could do red, white, and blue. Usually, we keep the trusses the same, and we change the scrim, or we just have it all the same. So that's the LEDs. They're very basic. They're very simple. Now our intelligent lights, you can select them both at the same time. You can turn their beams on together. The only thing you can't do with them both selected is position them. If you see on the video, they don't quite line up and shoot. I mean, they shoot relatively close to each other, but they don't necessarily look that great together. So if you can get them close to where you want them, get them close and then select one and work on them one at a time. That seems to be the easiest way to get them in the exact position that you want. Alright. Now you can do the colors together. They have the same color range as the LEDs do, but they tend to project the different colors better than the LEDs. Like I showed you, white wasn't really white, yellow wasn't really yellow. Now this, if you select yellow, it's gonna be yellow. Now this is a two-tone. It has two colors. And like I said, they project way better than the LEDs do as far as colors. So we have a lot broader color spectrum that we can use with the intelligent lights. Now we don't necessarily always use the double colors and stuff. We like to keep it simple because we don't want the lighting system to be distracting of what is actually going on the stage. It's meant to light the stage, make it look good, but it's not meant to distract from preaching, from worship, you know, whatever's taking place on stage. We don't want to distract from that. It's meant to add and be cool. So now basically I'm setting up, and this is what I was talking about when I said manually adjusting. We used to just manually adjust things, and the computer has been saving every button, everything that I've been doing, and so it's building up and it's storing the memory of how I got the lights to look like that. So if we don't want problems during service, we want to run this thing the right way. So now that I've set up the stage, I'm going to teach you how to program it to save what I've set. And we can set multiple settings, multiple like frames. So I'm a video editor. I talk in frames and all that. So we can set up different scenes. There are more scenes. So we can set up different scenes like this. This is a scene. This would probably be good for preaching. Just a nice still, you know. But say for worship, say we're setting up for a song. We want to start off with something simple. So we could have this, just program simple. Now, the way you start a program is you select all the lights that you've programmed, and we haven't, our haze machine isn't hooked up right now, but if we weren't going to use it for this, we wouldn't select it. So we select the ones that we just programmed, we press record, and we find an empty slot over here. We'll use this one, and we press it. And you hear that sound, that means that it took our settings. So now, what we can do is go in and program a different scene. So, like I said, we're programming something for worship. We want to keep the trusses the same. So we go into color mixture. Let's turn them green. And we'll leave the scrim blue because it looks good. Now let's say we want the intelligent lights to move around. So we selected intelligent lights. Now one thing that is very cool is the gobos. Gobos are basically they're basically the different shapes that the intelligent lights can project. You can see on the video that I'm scanning through the different symbols or different gobos. Let's say gobos. They just have different patterns and different looks and feels and stuff. So just like these, like I said, we don't want stuff to be too crazy to distract. There are times that we want the lights to just go nuts, and so these different patterns that have the stripes and different things like that, they're really busy. So if we're wanting something crazy, then those are more for craziness. There's just a lot to them, so they're going to be very powerful. For like a slow worship song, we might just want to stick with the spotlights or maybe these circles. But for this, you can see this best on the stage. So we're going to stick with the spotlight gobo. Now the color, we can change the color. And like I said, you go into the different color fix to do the intelligent lights. Let's change them red. If we go to position, this is another cool effect, or a cool thing. This shape button, what it does is it allows you to add movement to the lights without having to program every movement. So we can program every movement if we want, or we can simply click a button. Now this is just kind of a random. We can do a square to where the lights move in a square shape. We can make them do figure eights, even circles, like a search pattern. Now that wouldn't be bad for a more upbeat song where it's kind of scanning the whole stage. And if you don't want one of these going and you want to program it yourself, you just press none and it takes the effect off. Oh, one thing that I do want to show you is, like, we put it on random. This is the speed. So notice it's moving around at a decent pace. Now if we lower this, they're going to slow down. And actually, if you take it too low, they pretty much stop. So we'll speed it up a tiny bit. So the lower you have the speed, the slower they're going to go. The faster you have the speed, the faster they're going to speed up and go crazy. Now, you can tell that the lights are staying relatively on the stage, which is usually what we want. Say we want them to go on the walls and on the crowd and all that. If you're gonna use these pre-settings and you want that, this is the y-axis and the x-axis. And basically, if you turn this up, if you turn these up, they're gonna go more than just on the stage. Now they're shining a little bit on the walls. Now if you tone it down, oh, it's gonna stop. So we'll turn it slower. Now see, we've limited, this basically limits or expands the areas that the lights can shine on. So by lowering it, we basically corralled the lights into the middle. Now they kind of look funky because they kind of look like they're just jerking around a little bit. So 50 isn't bad.